Here we go again. Welcome back to my channel. Why is it that every Christmas Q4 selling season, Etsy tends to do something or a series of things that start to mess up people's stores? Okay, we're dealing with the print on demand mock apocalypse. I've been contacted by quite a few sellers saying what's going on with Etsy and them taking down listings from POD sellers. There's a lot of talk going on, there's a lot of rumor going on, but what we do know is a lot of listings and even stores are being removed at the moment by Etsy. So let me first of all explain what the problem is as I believe it to be. Remember, Etsy's not said anything yet. They've not given any official explanation for this. But when we go into their go into their terms of service, it's pretty clear what the problem is, or what I believe the problem is. So this is what Etsy says. When you sell a product with a production partner, print on demand, the listing photos should be of the finished product or an image supplied by the production partner. So if the product is coming from Printful or Printify, and you use their mock-ups, and this is the problem, isn't it? Because Printful mock-ups, Printify mock-ups are so poor. I can't believe the lack of mock-ups available on these sites. It's awful. You know, these are multi-million-dollar companies, and they have the worst mock-ups. So Etsy's saying if you use their mock-ups, then you're fine, because then they know they can prove the product comes from Printful. But if you want to get creative in your store and give your store some kind of feeling and branding and aesthetic, which is so important once you become more successful, then you've got a problem. Because what Etsy is saying is, if you take a mock-up and put your product on a different mock-up, there's no way to prove that that product is actually the same product for sale coming from your POD supplier. So if you use a mock-up site like Placeit or an Etsy seller, there's tons of Etsy sellers selling mock-ups, and you use those with your mugs, with your t-shirts, whatever. Etsy can't prove whether you've even got the right product, where the products come from. And I get it, but I've got two problems with this. Number one, this rule got last updated in 2018. So this rule has been for all to see for 5 years. Fine, but Etsy has not policed this rule at all. Okay, they've done nothing about it until now, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, shops are getting shut down, listings are being suspended, everyone's running around all confused again. We had this recently with Canva, didn't we? The same sort of thing. Problems with Canva and what you can and can't sell. Etsy's lack, this is the second thing, Etsy's lack of transparency and information to its sellers is criminal. You can't make changes like this and not tell sellers what's going on, like the square orientation photos. It's not acceptable. Yes, if you want to enforce your policies, and you haven't for 5 years, you need to remind people and send an email saying, hey guys, this is what we're going to do, just to remind you this is what's going on. So this is the problem, and this affects probably hundreds of thousands of sellers. So this is a big deal. Now, my advice on this, as always, is no knee-jerk reactions. So just take a breath, don't do anything right now with regards to your shop. Just don't make any moves, don't make any changes, don't do that. Okay, just wait. But what I do want you to do, this is going to help everyone, you need to get into my comments if this has affected you, and I need to know how many listings were deactivated. So how many listings were closed by Etsy? This is only if you're print on demand. Let me know how many listings were taken down, what print on demand partner you use. So is it Printful? Is it Printify? Is it Gelato? Who is it? And how many listings you've got in your store, right? So how many listings were removed, who your print on demand partner is, and how many listings you've got in your store. Everybody's been affected. Get into my comments and list that 1, 2, 3, so that everybody else can see what's going on. No one's got an answer yet. There's been no official response. It's all hearsay and rumor. But if you look at Etsy's policies, this seems to be the culprit. So get into my comments and say that, and give me those details. Right, now I need to give you more important information. And this is obvious to me because I've been doing this job for 8 years. And if you're a savvy seller, you should know this as well. But guys, I've got to clear something up with you. Etsy is clearly getting hot on its policies now. So it's actually looking to enforce them. It hasn't done this before. This is the first time it's ever done it. But now it's playing bad cop and it's going through its site. And these suspensions are probably bot suspensions. So they're not being done by humans. So we're going to need an explanation from Etsy. But listen to this. If you're taking designs from Creative Fabrica, right? You're buying designs from Creative Fabrica or design bundles or something like that, and you're putting them onto products and you're not modifying those designs, okay, then that product is technically not Etsy legal because you've had no hand in changing the design, modifying the design, doing something, adding, and that then puts us in a position of having several million products on Etsy that shouldn't technically be there. So the problem is that people on Creative Fabrica, design bundles, and all these other sites are running around copying each other, creating these designs for Etsy sellers to then come in and put on products. No one's enforcing copyright. No one's enforcing ownership rights of these products at the Creative Fabrica level. And because Etsy is not enforcing its rules up until now with the mock-up part, this makes it a little bit worrying because are they now going to go a step further and start to look at listings that have been created on sites like Creative Fabrica and design bundles? Because if they do that, they've got a problem, haven't they? Yes, they can police it and take all the listings down, but they're going to lose an absolute mountain of revenue. So the more they police their site, the more they're going to cripple their own revenue because they created what I would call the virus in the first place. Etsy created this problem and now they're having to deal with it. They had so many chances to sort this out and stop it, and not allow it to happen. It's not acceptable to have the site flooded with rubbish, rip-off, copyright trademark products and people flouting the rules left, right and centre. It could have been sorted out. There's no excuse in this day and age not to police your website properly. But here we are, and this is the problem we now face. So get into my comments and tell me your stats. How many listings were deactivated, who your POD partner is, and how many items you've got in your store. And to close, my thoughts on POD. Print on demand has just flooded Etsy, especially since COVID. And the platform's not handmade anymore. Anyone who keeps holding on to this idea of handmade is living in a dreamland. It's not. It's a huge commercial venture now with shareholders to answer to. But print on demand is low effort. It's super low effort if you break the rules because you can just take designs, put them on products and sell them. If you put effort in, POD is really, really hard work. And I teach this all the time, just how hard work it is. Most sellers lose money. They don't succeed. Overwhelmingly, POD is so tough. Anyway, I had to put this video out so that you guys got the information from me on my thoughts on this. Sit tight. Let's wait till Monday, Tuesday, see what's going on. But give me those stats in the comments, please. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Cheers.